Hello everyone, welcome once again to my channel. For today's video, we have a very exciting one because we're going to be talking about the chances that Tracy Maureen Perez has of actually winning Miss World 2021. This has been a highly requested video because of course my previous video about her, which was about the head-to-head challenge, got a lot of attention, and for that reason a lot of you have been asking for me that I do a follow-up about my state of mind and my hopes for Tracy actually getting that title in this particular year. So during this video, we're going to be looking back at her performance so far and her current state ahead of the competition, which is only like a few weeks away. I will be giving you my honest opinion about the pros and cons, things that she might have to enhance a little bit in order to put all chances on her side. But of course, this is by no means like a critique video, but rather a conversation between fans and things that in my opinion are very important to keep in mind ahead of such a huge competition. So if you enjoyed this type of content, then stick around. I will see you right after the intro. Okay, pageant fans, we have a lot to get into, and in my humble opinion, in order to know where you're going, you need to know where you come from. And for that reason, I really wanted to take a moment to look back at some of the challenges that Tracy had to face during Miss World so far, and just give you like a quick recap of what she did well and where she needed to work a little bit more. So we're gonna start by talking about the Beauty with a Purpose video that she presented to the Miss World organization. In my opinion, that was a very consistent video, and not only because it was visually appealing, but also because of the story. You can honestly feel that there was a lot of thought into what went into that video. I think that it really brought Tracy closer to the audience because she opened up about subjects such as losing her mom and going through all of these hardships that I feel like very few people knew about. And the thing is that she's not new to pageantry. She was a run for Miss Universe Philippines, she was a run for Miss World Philippines, and now on the international stage, someone that we think that we know so much comes up with like such a huge announcement, and it's just like, wow. So I feel like that video was a great introduction, not only for Filipino fans, but also for the international audience who maybe had no idea of who she was. Right after that, we moved to the head-to-head challenge where she proved that she had the communication skills. And of course, you knew that, I knew that, we followed her on the national pageant in the Philippines. However, for an international audience, this is all brand new. They're just trying to compare the girls, see what they can do, what they bring to the table. So I feel like that first head-to-head challenge was extremely important, and Tracy definitely nailed it. She was able to prove that she was no pageant patty and that actually she was very reasonable and very good when it comes to putting her ideas together in a way that is very cohesive and accessible for the entire audience. Things got even better when she got into the final of the head-to-head challenge. I just remember so many people tagging me on that video and asking me to react to it, and when I checked it out, I honestly understood right from the start what the hype was all about. On this particular video, she proved that she was able to speak from the heart, and even more than that, she was able to connect with an international audience. It's very easy to connect with the people of your country when you know the culture, when you know the tradition, the values. It's like, you know, you were born and raised in that environment. But when you are taken to an international stage and you have to convince the jury that you are the one who can represent the organization internationally fairly, that's another challenge. Her speech right here was very smooth but also very impactful. She knew what she was talking about. You could tell that she did her research about Puerto Rico, and she even spoke in Spanish, which is always a plus. It means that you are assimilating the culture, showing some appreciation, and those things never go unnoticed. I also really enjoyed her top model competition. I feel like she was given a gown that not only did her so much justice, but also was very out of the box. Compared to other gowns that other candidates got, Tracy got one that was very eccentric, and that, in my opinion, although it was made by a Puerto Rican designer, it kind of still embodied that essence of, you know, beautiful, intricate, elaborate gowns that you get in the Philippines. So although she was representing for Puerto Rican designers, I still feel like she carried that essence so well of being a Filipina, of being proud of who she is. And for me personally, that's a huge indicator of the potential of a candidate. When you are able to represent other people, other countries, other cultures, but still carry your own, that's such a beautiful thing that can be very hard to achieve. Before we move on to what's happening now, I wanted to comment as well about her traditional costume, because this honestly is one of the best costumes that I've seen so far, not only from the Philippines but also like overall. There is so much attention to detail. it doesn't matter which section of the costume you're looking at, this is a piece of art. I don't know how many hours went into this, but the craftsmanship, look, if the designer of this is watching this video, then props to you. I bow down to you because I can only imagine how hard this was. Everything from the structure, the design, the way that it's built, the cultural references, the color palette, everything is just perfect. So when you look at all of those elements that we talked about, Beauty with a Purpose video, head-to-head challenge, final head-to-head challenge, top model competition, traditional costume, she really did excel in all of those categories. So it was really to be expected that she will be selected to be part of the top 40. Now, this is when Miss World goes on a break because we know everything that happened. There were some delays and there were some scares when it comes to the pandemics and candidates and staff members being infected by the virus. This break that Miss World was forced to take was very dangerous for two reasons. First of all, the visibility of the pageant, and second of all, the focus of the candidates. To be in the environment of a pageant, you really have to be at your best at all times, and I feel like it's really not only hard but also quite demanding to expect that the candidates will stay on that state of mind for months. During this particular time, Tracy headed to New York and stayed there for a few weeks before she went back to the Philippines. And in the meantime, things got even worse because we had this entire lawsuit situation, drama between the organization and previous winners, which honestly looks awful for any organization out there. So if we're being honest right here, the image, the public image of the Miss World organization took a hit. And this is not good. We are talking about arguably the second biggest pageant in the world. And they were in the middle of all of this mess. So where do we go from here? So as I said, Tracy went back to the Philippines. She started doing a little bit of press. You know, she was talking to traditional media. She was doing some interviews with vloggers as well. And everything indicated that she was really in the right state of mind. You know, she was still motivated to get the crown. She was still ready to put everything into this competition and make the Philippines proud once again, to bring that crown back to the Philippines one more time. While all of this is happening, the Miss World organization is trying to make a comeback and make it seem like nothing happened. We're gonna have a coronation night, it's gonna be good. They released this brand new social media challenge, and they say that the girls have to have their very own website where they will post articles and information about themselves as a candidate, what they stand for, their projects with the Beauty with a Purpose cause, and that the ultimate goal was to get as many views and as many shares on social media as possible. I don't know if you get what they're doing here, but this is good for Tracy herself as a candidate because it brings visibility to what she does. But this is particularly good for the Miss World organization because suddenly it brings all of the pageant fans' eyes to the Miss World organization. They will be on the website, they will be seeing what they do, they will be aware of the activities, and suddenly they will be excited about the pageant once again. It was a good strategy. The only thing that I'm concerned about is that as of today, if you go and visit Tracy Maureen Perez section on the Miss World website, you will only find 2 articles. And you know, at first I was telling myself, you know, that's not a lot, but maybe other girls are doing the same. So I compared to other girls who are considered to be front runners or favorites for the crown. I went and visited the Miss Côte d'Ivoire's page. A lot of articles. I'm talking of at least 7-8 articles. I went and visited the Miss World USA page. At least 20 articles. This girl went like crazy on the amount of information that she released. So when you look at these profiles, right, what you're seeing is that they really want to do it, and they're really taking part within the challenge. Don't forget that this is still part of the challenge and the requirements to get to that final line and get the crown. Then I told myself maybe she's putting her energy elsewhere. I went and checked on her social media on Instagram, and honestly I do see some information over there. She did post on February 18 about Miss World. That's good. She also had like some photos around February 3rd. So she's been active, but I don't see any major updates. I don't see her talking too much about her cause. So I don't know if who is to blame for this, if it's her team, if it's, I don't know what's happening behind scenes. But in my opinion, you know, if the competition is just around the corner, we should be getting a little bit more information, you know. From the moment that it was announced that the candidates had to go back home, this was on December 18th, up until now, we have received an overall of 4 publications. So honestly, I'm a little worried about how this will impact her run and her chances of actually getting the crown. However, let's talk honestly and be objective about it. I still feel like Tracy has a very good chance of getting the crown, and I'm gonna tell you precisely why. Before we got to this point in the video, I made sure to cover every single challenge that Tracy had to complete during the competition. And the reason for that is because I want you to see how consistent she's been since the beginning. I also took a moment to explain to you what happened, like with the drama and the mess that was happening with the Miss World organization, because I think this is key information right here. Compared to other countries, Stacey still has an advantage, and that is that she comes from a sash factor country. The Philippines is huge when it comes to pageantry, and if Stacey was to become the winner, the amount of support, following, visibility, and just overall increase in engagement will be enormous. And then you also have to think about the crisis that the Miss World organization is going through. They had candidates and staff get infected with COVID. They had to cancel and reschedule their coronation night. They are in the middle of a lawsuit with the previous winner. It's not looking good for them, and people are quickly losing interest. So I think that the Miss World organization will really benefit from working with someone that comes from a sash factor country such as the Philippines. And the good thing about it is that if she was to get the crown, she will be a deserving winner. Of course, some people would argue, each one has their favorite, but at the end of the day, Tracy has been so consistent since the beginning. My only fear is that the Philippines is not the only country with a sash factor. There are other candidates as well who are doing very well during the competition, who could also go ahead and get the title and might be able to give a similar level of visibility and engagement to the organization. I'm thinking of countries like Venezuela, I'm thinking of Puerto Rico, and that will be like a really good way as well to kind of like, fix the links with Puerto Rico and everything that is happening right now. So my only feedback for Tracy or her team or whoever it is that you've been doing so great up until this point. Like, it's been honestly exceeded everyone's expectation. I will be hoping to see a little bit more engagement when it comes to the social media. I will be hoping to see a little bit more activity on the website and what is being put out there and shared on social media, because that is the requirement, what the organization is expecting from the candidates. I would actually like to know what you guys think about this entire thing. So please let me know in the comment section, what is your take on this? Do you agree with me? Do you have a different point of view? I'm completely open to listen to that as well. And of course, if you find some sort of value in this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like so that it gets recommended to more people. Before you go, check out this video right here where I react to Tracy's final head-to-head challenge. And last but not least, come here and give me a hug, because that's a little tradition on the channel. You know that I love you and that I appreciate you. Thank you for coming and spending a few moments out of your day here with me. And until I see you next time, please stay safe, be kind to one another, sending you all my love, all my kisses, and I'll see you on the next one.